a fact that meteorologist Craig Elliott always tells his viewers.
Remember some of the rules, turn around, don't drown. Don't drive through water that you don't know the depth of.
For the Weather Channel, I'm Jim Cantori.
Weeknights 8, 7 Central, the Weather Channel, primed for excitement. And now, your local on the 8s.
Meteorologist Mark Elliott bringing you a live weather update, and this is the only game in town. We do have some onshore flow bringing some rain and snow showers across the Pacific Northwest, but this is just the beginning of what will be a very stormy pattern in the west. Big old trough through the week means of well below average temperatures, up to 40 degrees below average across the high plains. And when you add the moisture in thanks to this low coming down the coast, we are going to see widespread storminess across the west. Of course, you can get your live weather updates every 30 minutes. Stay tuned for Weatherproof.
Welcome to Weatherproof, the show that pits man's ingenuity against nature's fury. Stephanie Abrams, the Weather Channel's veteran meteorologist, has fearlessly braved the worst Mother Nature can dish out. And Hollywood special effects wizard Newton Weimer uses his destructive imagination to replicate the most extreme weather on Earth.
Here we go.
Together, they're two experts in search of one answer. When nature turns violent, how can you stay weatherproof? Now, wildfires. Thousands occur each year, engulfing millions of acres in both rural and urban areas. Does your home offer any resistance? What you plant around your home could protect your property or simply feed a raging fire. Plus, urban fires. Find out how to get to safety when your escape route is blocked by flames. It's all coming up on Weatherproof. Wildfires may not be a weather event, but weather is undoubtedly a major influence on the likelihood of a fire happening and how severely it will burn. Too little rain means conditions are dry and ripe for fire. But too much rain in the spring can cause excessive growth that dries out in late summer, leaving an abundance of fuel. In severe events, fire can create its own weather. Heat from the fire can produce local winds, create atmospheric instability, and cause cumulus clouds to develop. In an extreme state, a combustion cloud can develop and build to the point where it produces lightning, rain, and dangerous downbursts of winds up to 60 miles per hour, sending embers in all directions. When fires burn out of control, their path can change with the wind. But when fires approach property, does a home stand a chance? The Weatherproof team will test two basic home siding materials to see how they fare versus intense flames.
First siding we're going to test today is essentially plywood. It's called T111. It's a style, and it looks like overlapping pieces of wood, but actually this is one piece of plywood. This is another piece of plywood put together. These grooves are just machined in, and this is the most common kind of siding you can find on most homes today.
And it's just straight up wood. There's nothing else, just wood.
This is pretty vulnerable to fire. But over here we have another style. This is cement fiberboard, and the cool part about this is there's a grain texture to it. This looks like wood, and it's not. This grain is actually put in there from the factory, and it overlaps. It's not machine grooves. It's actually an overlapping type of construction. So aesthetically, it looks really good. It looks
just to make it look prettier. This doesn't do anything to help it at all.
Exactly. It's an aesthetics type thing, but we're gonna put it to the test because this is a cement type product and see how it holds up compared to wood. Obviously, we know cement doesn't burn. Wood does, but all materials have their breakdowns with heat and temperature and stuff like that, so that's what we're going to look at today.
And simulating a wildfire is right up Newton's alley.
We have a dual feed propane system. These are our propane tanks. The propane comes out, goes through these hoses, all the way up to one fire bar. That's why we call it a dual feed system. What's cool about this, it's like a sprinkler system where the fire comes out right here. There's little slots in the bar, and the bar keeps the hose from burning, and the slots let the fuel come out, and our valves back there lets us adjust it from 6 inches to like 5, 6 feet, however high we want. So let's fire it up. Right now, even though the flame isn't touching the wood,
it's drying it out.
Yeah, it's drying it out. It's starting to get hot. You can see it's starting to turn black.
Yeah, it's charring it a little bit already.
Yeah, and really shortly here, it's going to actually start igniting.
But just looking at this, you can see how the wind can make a fire very easily out of control. You see the flames are kind of wrapping around the house. They're blowing up the house. They're, you know, going. Look at this. Little fire nados are spinning up with this wind.
And it looks like it's starting to ignite almost right now.
Because those bars are even all the way across, but we see the most charred area right now on the right-hand side of the house. But look at the wind now is blowing into the left-hand side.
Yeah, see the smoke. It's right at its ignition point. I mean, I think we may even have some flame on there.
And this has only taken seconds. I mean, in all reality, you know, for the plywood to get hot enough to turn dark.
Yeah, let's go ahead and crank it up.
And this could happen in a real-life fire situation, that they just explode.
Yeah, exactly. You can have a big pile of brush, a lot of wind, and it'll get as hot or hotter than the propane even.
And a fire's heat can reach far beyond its flames, a fact that Stephanie and Newton, over 40 feet away, are well aware of.
I can feel that heat from where we're located, and we're really not far.
That heat you're feeling is a radiant heat, and that's a lot of what will affect your home. Before the fire gets to it, that radiant heat, it'll melt, dry, and burn. So you got a hole going right there.
There we go. We have a hole going. It looks like it's, would you call that caught on fire there?
Go ahead and turn that down a little bit. We want to see what we got going on there. I think we're burning. Yeah, we're burning.
And this is a lot of times in fires, you know, the wind can shift depending on where they're located, mountain or valley. And so originally, it was more charred on the right-hand side, and now we're charred more on the left-hand side due to the wind shifting.
Exactly. Let it rip.
I mean, this to me is a raging wildfire right here.
This would not be overdoing it by any means. Go ahead and cut it. Because it's plywood, you can actually count the layers. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5 layers. It's gone through a couple layers easy. And then over here, you can see it's now
it's smoldering.
Gone through
this could continue to burn like this for hours, right? I mean, it has enough fuel here, even if the fire is out per se, and this is still smoldering, so you still have the heat.
It's bright out here, and you can't really see it too well, but there's little orange glowing things right here.
Yeah, I see them.
And if you blow on it,
oh yeah.
See how it lights up orange? So this is still burning. It's just visually you can't see the fire everywhere, but it is actually burning. And this will ignite. This would not be something safe to walk away from.
It was just a matter of seconds, and you could see that it already started to blacken, it already started to char a bit, and that plywood, it caught flame pretty fast during this experiment. It's time now to test our fire versus our more fire-resistant siding, or what should be more fire-resistant siding.
Yeah, that's right. This is our cement composite material. We'll fire it up, do the same thing, and see what happens. We got our low-level setting right here. That looks about the same, huh?
And the wind is still blowing. The wind, I would say, is similar to both tests.
Exactly, just like before.
Look at that spinning. The vortices there firing up.
Yeah, those are cool. Now he's going to turn it up a lot more.
This is way more than the last one was.
Exactly, yeah.
It's holding up pretty well right now. I mean, if we did this on the wood, that whole thing would have been up in flames, I feel like.
The wind picks up and perfectly illustrates why even a subtle breeze can intensify a fire. As the wind whips around the corner of the burning support frame, it forces flames into a vortex that channels the rising heat into direct contact with the cement board.
Now I'm starting to see a little slits, you know, you see on the second panel up.
And then the edge is starting to burn a little bit from the wood.
The fire's going for longer, and it's much, much stronger. Relative to the plywood, I was very impressed with this.
Oh, yeah.
Of the fact that it could hold up to that fire so close for much longer, and actually it was cranked up much more.
Yeah, there's no comparison as far as which one's better. You can see from that test here that the material did start to break down, but compared to the wood, it's not even close. It looks like Had we kept going, we would have got more cracks, and eventually it would fail. There's an opening underneath these